ASO, the race organizers of the Tour de France, are always looking for ways to spice up the race to keep it entertaining for viewers. Sometimes it works out well, like the usage of short but intense mountain stages to encourage attacks. Sometimes it flops hard, like an F1 style grid start that added nothing to the race. Adding cobblestones to the Tour was an example of it working out well. Sure, purists and many fans will claim it has no place in a Grand Tour. It's too risky, too chaotic. But that's just bike racing as a whole. For us at 124, the spectacle of it is worth the risk. And let's be honest, is it more dangerous than a normal, flat and fast stage these days? Regardless, the spectacle of the cobbles and how they impact the race was on full display on Stage 5 of the 2014 Tour de France. After a 4-year hiatus, made their return to intimidate the field. Leading into the stage, there were 3 favorites for the general classification. There was Alberto Contador, the 2-time overall winner, Vincenzo Nibali, winner of last year's Giro, and of course, defending champion Chris Froome, the overwhelming favorite. So, let's go to the start line. The weather today is wet, gloomy, and utterly miserable. It's something that makes a dangerous day even more treacherous, and it brings echoes of the infamous 2002 Paris-Roubaix to the front of everyone's minds. Sure, the 9 cobbled sectors have been reduced to 7 because of the weather, and the sectors that do remain pale in comparison to those at Paris-Roubaix, but it is still going to be a nerve-wracking day from start to finish. The peloton was right to be nervous, as crashes began before they were even close to the cobblestones, and one GC rider was a primary victim. Chris Froome crashed twice on the tarmac, the first time just 35 kilometers into the race. It was the second crash, though, that did him in. A crash right before the first cobbled sector saw him abandon the race with a suspected broken wrist. The favorite out of the race before the road even tilted uphill. But the Tour waits for no man and shows no sympathy, and the rest of the peloton carries on. The wet tarmac continues wreaking havoc. The front breakaway hits the first cobbled sector, and it is soaked, with puddles on either side of the cobbles. For sickos like me, this is an incredible sight. For normal people concerned with the welfare of the riders, it is stressful. The GC teams are fighting for the front, Alberto Contador's Tinkoff team most notably, largely due to their neon jersey. They hit the right-hander onto the cobbles. It's showtime. And immediately moving up to 6th wheel is the yellow jersey of Nibali, looking completely smooth and unbothered, like a classics contender. As they come off the cobbles, yes, we're paying attention to the GC, but Cannondale coming to the front reminds us a stage win is up for grabs as well. And their phenom, Peter Sagan, is hungry for success. There's only 1 minute and 47 seconds separating the break from this group. There's a bit more embarrassment for Froome as the camera films him quietly sitting in the back of the Team Sky car, which feels unnecessary. But we're on to the next cobbled sector for the peloton. It's narrower, it's muddier. Nibali is still flying towards the front, but where is Alberto Contador? So kind of good news for Contador, he's still technically in the Nibali group. Bad news, he's all the way towards the back. This is because a rider from Belkin, Sepp van Mark, is turning up the tempo, driving every GC contender other than Nibali and Jurgen van den Broek, who would eventually drop back. You know the conditions are bad when Van Mark, perennial classics contender, has trouble maintaining control, as is Nibali in the background, but everyone keeps the bikes upright. Sepp, of course, is going for the stage win, and Nibali is hanging on to get those GC gaps opened wider. It's an alliance of need. In fact, Nibali even has 2 teammates with him still, a great display of power from the Astana squad. Not in this group anymore though, Contador. 28 riders are now in the yellow jersey group, including one Fabian Cancellara. The gap to the leaders is just 40 seconds. It's time for another cobbled sector, and immediately a rider runs out of room in the corner and lands in the ditch, but should be fine. Now the Belkin riders are on the attack, with former cyclocross world champion Lars Boom on the front. And chasing behind is Nibali himself, He isn't just thinking about time anymore. He's thinking about a win. But suddenly, it almost all ends. Coming out of right-hander, Nibali's teammate loses their rear wheel right in front of Nibali and goes down. But the Italian, skilled as ever, only has to unclip for a moment to stay upright. Luck has a favorite in this Tour de France. With 20 kilometers to go, Nibali has gained 1 minute and 45 seconds over Contador, and he's not done. At 7 kilometers, it's almost 2 minutes, and as Nibali turns into the final cobbled sector, he's one of 3 leaders, with Froome and teammate Jakob Fuglsang with him. To most, Nibali doing this well is a complete surprise, but looking at the past, maybe it shouldn't be. Quote, "Roubaix is the race of my dreams. It fascinates me, maybe because I like mountain biking. I'd like to do and win it one day." Froome attacks and Nibali tries to chase, but to no avail. The Dutchman will win the stage, covered in grit and grime. But the biggest winner today was Nibali, opening up gaps of over a minute on every GC rival. And he'd go on to dominate the Tour. And one has to assume this stage played a key role in the physical and mental battle. Quote, "It was a tremendous stage. I almost crashed 3 times, but I got through with a bit of luck and a bit of ability." A bit of ability was an understatement. Nibali only competed at the Tour of Flanders once in his career, and never at Paris-Roubaix. But I do think there's a world where on his day, he could have podiumed at a Cobble Classic. Instead, I guess he just had to, settle for 3 general classification wins in Grand Tours. Shame.